Today, we will be looking at the top 10 biggest and most expensive mega projects in modern history. Starting with number 10, we have the Channel Tunnel that stretches 31.4 miles connecting Britain with France, which has the longest underwater section of any tunnel, and is the third longest railway tunnel in the world. The Channel Tunnel is buried beneath the English Channel. It is the favorite means of people to cross the watery divide between the UK and mainland Europe. The project started in 1988 and began operation in 1994, with the estimated cost of $6.2 billion in 1985. It was at the time the most expensive construction project ever proposed. 13,000 workers were allocated for this project, but the cost was 80% more than that estimated due to escalating safety demands, security and delays related to construction cost, equipment delivery, and testing problems. The final cost was amounted to $14.5 billion in 1994, which is equivalent to $22.4 billion at today's inflation. At number 9, we have the Big Dig, officially known as Boston's Central Artery Tunnel Project, which was one of the most expensive highway projects in the United States, which cost a little over $23 billion with the planning of the rerouting of major highways started in 1982. The whole project was originally scheduled to be completed in 1998, but it was finally completed on the last day of 2007, 10 years behind schedule and costing millions of dollars more than expected. As well as cost overruns, there were delays, leaks, design flaws, alleged substandard material, as well as a few arrests and a tragic death of a motorist. In at number 8 is the Apollo space program, also known as Project Apollo, was the United States human spaceflight program carried out by the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, NASA, which succeeded in preparing and landing the first 2 men on the moon from 1968 to 1972. It was an amazing feat of human endurance and technology, which includes the 1969 moon landing. The Apollo program sent American astronauts to a total of 11 space flights and walking on the moon. The first 4 flights tested the equipment used in the Apollo program. 6 of the other 7 flights landed on the moon. The first Apollo flight happened in 1968. It took tremendous effort, but once the moon was landed on, we lost interest, and the program was deemed too expensive to continue. The whole Apollo program costed at $25.4 billion in 1973, which is nearly $260 billion in today's money. At number 7 is Kansai International Airport in Japan's second largest city, Osaka. The planning for this project started back in the 1960s and is certainly a feat of engineering. Kansai opened on 4th September 1994 to relieve overcrowding at Osaka International Airport, also called Itami Airport. It balances on a man-made island in the water, making it hopefully immune to earthquakes and other freak accidents. The construction of the island started in 1987. The seawall was finished in 1989. Over 3 years, 10,000 workers using 80 ships took 10 million man-hours to complete the 30 or 40-meter layer of earth over the seafloor and inside the seawall. In 1990, a 3-kilometer bridge was completed to connect the island to the mainland at a cost of $1 billion. A second terminal was added in 2012, connected to the original terminal through a free shuttle service. In 2019, 31.9 million passengers used the airport, making it the 3rd busiest airport in Japan. In 2020, Kansai was ranked the 10th best airport in the world by Skytrax and received its awards for Best Airport Staff in Asia, World's Best Airport Staff, and World's Best Airport for Baggage Delivery. However, the island which the Kansai airport is located on had been predicted to sink 5.7 meters by the most optimistic estimate, as the weight of the material used for construction compressed the seabed silts. But by 1999, the island had sunk 8.2 meters, which is almost 50% more than predicted. The project became the most expensive civil works project in modern history after 20 years of planning, 3 years of construction, and $15 billion of investment. The construction of the whole island and airport costed at $29 billion. At number 6 is the Dubailand, which is an entertainment complex planned to be built in Dubai, which was announced on October 23, 2003. And at that time, it was one of the most ambitious leisure developments ever proposed anywhere in the world, costing $64.3 billion. The development was put on hold in 2008 due to the global financial meltdown of 2008, but resumed in mid-2013. Updates in 2013 showed that $55 billion had been raised towards the works, but now the project is expected to cost over $76 billion, where some of the planned projects for the Dubai Land Complex have opened. Other projects are being built and are planned to open in 2025. Dubai decided it needed an attraction geared toward families, and this is the solution. It is an ambitious leisure development, and although not complete, it is one of the most expensive projects ever undertaken. It would have an area of 278 square kilometers, which is 107 square miles, twice the size of Walt Disney World, and comprise 45 mega projects and 200 sub-projects. The Dubai Land was divided into 6 zones known as worlds: attractions and experience world, sports and outdoor world, ecotourism world, themed leisure and vacation world, retail and entertainment world, and downtown. It is the largest collection of theme parks in the world and is expected to be completed by 2030. At number 5 is the California High-Speed Rail, which is a publicly funded high-speed rail system being developed in California by the California High-Speed Rail Authority. This was first proposed in 1979 by Governor Jerry Brown. The project was authorized in 2008 to connect the state's major urban areas and reduce intercity travel times. Due to limited funding, the project is being built in sections, Phase 1 and Phase 2. Phase 1 is about 494 miles long and is planned to run from San Francisco to Los Angeles and Anaheim through the Central Valley and is partially funded and under construction. A proposed Phase 2 in future would extend the system north to Sacramento and south to San Diego for a total of 1,249 kilometers long. The construction of Phase 1 began in the Central Valley in 2015 and is expected to complete after 2030. As of 2024, the entirety of Phase 1 was projected to cost over $106.2 billion. The high-speed bullet train in California high-speed rail is expected to reach speeds of 220 miles per hour, and trains running along this section would be the fastest in the United States, connecting major U.S. cities from San Francisco to Los Angeles. At number 4 is the King Abdullah Economic City, which is a planned city in Makkah Province, Saudi Arabia. It was announced as a mega project in 2005 by King Abdullah bin Abdulaziz. It will be slightly bigger than Washington, D.C., and be home to 2 million people, with a total development area of 173 square kilometers, which is 66.8 square miles. The city is located along the coast of the Red Sea, around 100 kilometers north of Jeddah, the commercial hub of Saudi Arabia. The city is also approximately an hour and 20 minutes away from the city of Mecca, 3 hours from Medina by car, and an hour away from all Middle Eastern capital cities by plane. The total cost of the city is around $100 billion, with the project being built by MAR Properties and other Saudi investors. It is being built along with 4 other new cities in Saudi Arabia to control sprawl and congestion in existing cities. The city aims to diversify the nation's oil-based economy by bringing direct foreign and domestic investments. The city also aspires to help create up to 1 million jobs. It is set to become a major tourist attraction for Saudi Arabia with villas, a massive airport, as well as universities, and the whole city is expected to be completed by 2025. On number 3 is the Khashagan field, which is an offshore oil field in Kazakhstan's zone of the Caspian Sea. The field, discovered in 2000, is located in the northern part of the Caspian Sea, close to Atirau, and is considered the world's largest discovery in the last 30 years. When discovered, it was the second largest oil field in the world. It is estimated that the Khashagan field has recoverable reserves of about 13 billion barrels of crude oil over its lifetime. Harsh conditions, including sea ice during the winter, temperature variation from 35 to 40 degrees Celsius, extremely shallow water, and high levels of hydrogen sulfide, together with mismanagement and disputes, making it one of the most challenging oil megaprojects. Commercial production began in September 2013, and it is estimated that the development of the field had cost $116 billion as of 2012. The largest oil discovery in the Caspian Sea has seen the continuous development of the Khashagan fields. As well as man-made islands, there have been many difficulties in the construction, including leaks and problems drilling into fields of oil under high pressure. Operations started in September 2013, and the completion date is expected around 2028. At number 2 is the International Space Station. ISS is a large space station assembled and maintained in low Earth orbit by a collaboration of 5 space agencies and their contractors: NASA from United States, Roscosmos from Russia, ESA from Europe, JAXA from Japan, and CSA from Canada. The ISS is the largest space station ever built. Its primary purpose is to perform microgravity and space environment experiments. The station was designed between 1984 and 1993. Elements of the station were in construction throughout the US, Canada, Japan, and Europe, beginning in the late 1980s. The International Space Station program brings together international flight crews, multiple launch vehicles, globally distributed launch and flight operations, training, engineering, and development facilities, communications networks, and the international scientific research community. The ISS measures 357 feet or 109 meters from end to end, which is about the size of an American football field. The space station has a mass of nearly 1 million pounds. When it comes to living in space, the ISS is larger than a 6-bedroom house. It maintains an orbit with an average altitude of 400 kilometers, 250 miles, and circles the Earth in roughly 93 minutes, completing 15.5 orbits per day. The total cost for this project comes at a whopping amount of $150 billion. At number 1, the Interstate Highway System, or the Eisenhower Interstate System. It is a network of controlled access highways that forms part of the National Highway System in the United States. This American project, connecting more than 47,000 miles of highway, is still the most expensive construction project to date, with a whopping total cost of $459 billion. Construction began in 1955, taking 35 years to complete. It was seen as critical to national defense, providing more routes for access and egress under war conditions. Despite being the most expensive mega project in modern history, the cost for this project is just 1/3 compared to the next biggest mega project in Saudi Arabia, Neom City. This next futuristic project, Neom, is an urban area being built by Saudi Arabia in Tabuk, launched in 2017 by Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. The total planned area of Neom is 26,500 square kilometers, which is 10,200 square miles. Multiple regions are planned, including a floating industrial complex, global trade hub, tourist resorts, and a linear city powered by renewable energy sources. Much of the city is hoped to be completed by 2039. Some experts have expressed skepticism about the ambitions of the mega-project. Neom's construction has also been criticized for environmental and human rights violations, with expatriate employees describing abusive working conditions, and members of the local Hawatat tribe protesting against their forced expulsion. Around 20,000 people are expected to be forcibly relocated. Members of the Hawatat tribe have been killed resisting evictions, including Abdulrahim al-Huwaiti, who was killed by Saudi security forces under disputed circumstances. 3 other members of the tribe were also sentenced to death for resisting evictions. The project's estimated costs exceeds a whopping amount of $1.5 trillion,